and welcome to ECCB Connects. This week, we'll be discussing our region's social security systems and the reforms that have been implemented over the years to ensure you receive maximum benefits. Stay with us. We'll continue in a moment.
Rise to the challenge.
Yes, rise to the challenge.
Calling students and practitioners worldwide to design AI applications that can solve real-world climate data problems.
Students and experts are challenged to apply their expertise in data science and artificial intelligence to assess the changes and correlations between specific climate data and predict future events and trends. The data provided by challenge organizers will cover 3 or more data sets from countries in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union related to the rise in heat temperatures, intensity and frequency of hurricanes and floods, reduced precipitation or low rainfall, coastal degradation, coastal flooding and sea level rise, deforestation, and soil erosions. This fully virtual event will culminate with finalists selected from the pool of candidates who would have submitted their entries, pitching their prototypes on April 7, 2022, Day 2 of the Growth and Resilience Dialogue, for the opportunity to win the grand prize of $10,000. University students and private sector practitioners working in the fields of data science and artificial intelligence are invited to participate in the Climate Resilience Data Challenge 2022, organized by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, in collaboration with the OECS Commission, the World Bank, and the University of the West Indies.
Get ready, we challenge you.
I have with me Dr. Timothy Hodge, recently retired Director of the Anguilla Social Security Board, and Mr. Shernnel Thompson, Acting Deputy Director in the Research Department at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Dr. Hodge, Shernnel, welcome to ECCB Connects.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Hodge, I'll start with you. You have over 40 years experience working with Social Security, and you have served for 35 years as the director of the Anguilla Social Security Board. So I know you have a wealth of knowledge and experience to share with our audience. You're recently retired. How has that been going for you?
Well, it's just 5 weeks and 1 day, going wonderfully.
Great. So Dr. Hodge, we're going to talk about social security systems. And throughout the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, we have our systems established at different periods. We have the oldest being Antigua and Barbuda, which was established in 1972, and the youngest, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which was established in 1986. Social security systems, what is their key mandate?
Well, the key mandate of a social security system, any social security system, is to pay benefits to its insured persons. So that is the all-important overriding mandate, to pay benefits to persons who are members of its system. Now, I say key because that opens the door for secondary or subsidiary benefits, and there are many.
Just highlight a few of them.
Okay, well, the main one would be that the social security system in just about any country is usually the largest savings account, if you wish, of the country. The joint savings of all the social security contributors, which are there for their future benefits. And so being the largest fund, being any fund at all, there are possibilities that can be used where the fund can be leveraged, where just as if you have a bank account and you have a fixed deposit, you can use it to secure a loan, etc. So the fund itself, as can be, its funds can be leveraged for national development, borrowed, on lent, invested in various avenues of national development. So there are quite a few subsidiary or secondary benefits. And then, of course, as a corporate citizen, with deep pockets, social security systems are often called upon to do, for example, in times of disaster, in times of economic crisis, such as we recently faced with the COVID-19 or with hurricanes, Hurricane Irma in the Eastern Caribbean. Certainly, the social security systems are called upon and have played a significant, substantial role in these ECCU member territories.
Dr. Hodge, you mentioned deep pockets, social security systems having deep pockets. Shernnel, I'll now turn to you. You recently did some research and presented a paper to the ECCB Monetary Council on social security systems in the region. How would you characterize the ECCU social security systems with respect to their financial standing?
The most recent data that the central bank has, which is as of 2019, shows that in some of the smaller ECCU member countries, the total assets range from approximately 12.4 million or 6.8% of GDP to as high as 2.2 billion EC dollars or about 38.8% of GDP. Total reserves in the systems themselves are roughly around the same levels. So in the smallest ECCU member country, it's about $33.7 million. And in the largest, it's about $2.2 billion in terms of total reserves. The rest of the funds of the Social Security system are typically invested in other assets, such as government treasury bills or foreign investments.
So as Dr. Hodge said, deep pockets, but we know these funds are used and are put towards national development. And of course, he mentioned benefits. Dr. Hodge, back to you. From your years of experience, how have social security systems in our region changed over the years?
Well, they have changed, but perhaps not changed enough or fast enough for my total satisfaction. In that they are dynamic systems. They sort of roll with the times, but yet there's got to be that solid base foundation. But you've got to every now and then tweak and adapt. And these adaptations usually come from actuarial reviews and analyses, which project future need for funds. And therefore, if there's going to be a future need, then you can't wait until that time comes to see if the funds are there. You've got to provide for them before. And so our actuaries have been recommending over the years that we do certain things, that we change certain things. And if you do it a little bit by a little bit, then it is not so difficult. But if you wait until the changes build up, as is sometimes the case, then it becomes more politically, not so good for the politicians to try to do. And so I would say satisfactory. The systems have changed with the times, have now, for example, introduced temporary unemployment benefits to meet the the COVID-19 situation in Anguilla and several of the other countries as well. And we did the same here with Hurricane Irma, which caused massive unemployment. And so that the systems have been flexible, but the overriding change, like for example, that says you want to increase the retirement age outwards as demographics have changed over the 40, 50 years that these systems have existed, then sometimes the change has not come as yet, or sometimes it's coming, but it's coming very slowly. Fortunately, in Anguilla, we sort of hit the right mark right from the get-go. So we started out with our retirement age at 65, our Social Security age, pensionable age. And that is the benchmark today. So everybody who is at 62 and 60 are gradually moving to 65. So these are the kind of things that I would speak about. But overall, I think that the systems have been responsive to the needs of the beneficiaries.
So Shernnel, Dr. Hodge mentioned some changes, and within the whole system, we refer to them as reforms, and there have been some other reforms. Dr. Hodge mentioned pension age. We've seen changes in the contribution ceiling. Take us through some of the other major reforms that have taken place over the past few years.
Right, thanks for that. So as Dr. Hodge would have indicated, the major reforms that would have been made by the social security systems over the past few years have mainly been centered around changes in the normal pension age, changes in both the contribution ceiling and the contribution rates, and changes to other areas such as what we will term the accrual rates or early age pension options. And these form the basis of reforms that we call parametric reforms. And parametric reforms are really structural adjustments that are supposed to have a positive benefit to the development of the social security system over the long term. There are other minor reforms that have been put in place, and so we've seen things like the introduction of survivor's pension, for example, or even changes to how the pension itself is calculated, the basis of the pension calculation. And we've seen the introduction of things such as specific grants for specific purposes. So these are basically all of the reforms that have been made by the systems over the past few years, subject to, as Dr. Hodge would have indicated, changes in the demographics of the region.
Some of the systems have gone a little bit outside of the box in terms of, for example, in Anguilla, we now pay paternity benefits, which is something that has, the men have been asking for all the time. It's finally happened. And there are other adjustments to benefits, the way they are paid, the combinations of benefits, etc., which have been made, which are different to the way the system started out 40, 50 years ago.
So all of these changes and reforms have been put in place to strengthen the social security systems, to help them execute their mandate. Of course, people are at the heart of social security systems because they're there to serve the people. Dr. Hodge, Shernnel, this indeed is an interesting discussion. However, we're out of time, so we'll have to continue next week.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And now for this week's financial tip.
Have a financial goal. If you don't know where you're going financially, you may end up somewhere you don't want to be.
Here's where we end this week's episode of ECCB Connects. We thank you for watching, and we invite you to join us again next week when we'll continue our discussion on social security systems. We look at the role of social security systems in national development and what you can do to help keep our region's social security systems strong.